Yeah.
They would talk about me in Tamil, which is the language. So it was hilarious because they'd be like chatting away, usually guys saying something about me. And then I would turn around and say something in Tamil to them. And they would be like, oh, sister! Suddenly I would.
You just mentioned how you criticize yourself a lot when you're watching it. How is it when people are complimenting you and telling you what a great job you did? Is it like just going one ear out the other and you can't really hear it? Like you've got your own notions in your brain about what your performance was like?
No, I just feel a bit shy and awkward and like, oh, thanks. I'm always scared of too much praise or too much criticism. It doesn't matter because you know your limitations and your strengths. So you know what it is you need to go towards to better it. Or you have people who are in the industry that know you and can tell you very positive or useful things, you know, whether it's praise or criticism. But when it comes to just a lot of people who don't know you, they don't know the script, they don't know which scenes were cut out, they don't know where, you know, we could have improved. And there's always room for improvement. If it was perfect, we'd all just quit acting, you know, it'd be like, I've made the perfect film, now bye.
Right.
You know, Daniel Day-Lewis has quit acting because he can, because he's perfect.
Right. I'm sure there's things that keep him up at night where he's like, duh, I could have done better in Gangs of New York if I had just done this. Would you ever do an action film? Like where you're the action lead?
I would so love to. I was just talking about that today in an interview that I would love to train in some like kung fu or do some really kick-ass action film where I get to kick the ass. Yeah.
I'd watch it.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy to train you and choreograph for you.
Oh yeah, what do you do?
I do Taekwondo and Hapkido.
Ah.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 20 years. Because I think it'd be interesting to see. Like that's the one thing I've noticed hasn't popped up in your filmography yet. Is like you as like this kind of crazy action star kind of person. I thought maybe it's just not your speed or something like that. But that's why I was asking about it.
Oh no, I would love to. I mean, I'm not an action person. I do crazy things. I do slacklining. I do surfing. I ride horses. So yeah, it would be nice for me to go into that zone.
Did you watch Atomic Blonde?
No, I haven't.
That's the kind of thing that immediately comes to mind for you if you were to go into an action film, like, because that's like.
I'd like to take my hair off, like just have it. Let's advertise this. Put some ideas out there.
Calking for action heroine. Next film.
How did your parents feel like when you first decided to pursue acting? Were they just chill and supportive or reluctant?
My mom was like, okay, but what about doing like a backup thing? You're good at writing. Why don't you become a journalist? Why don't you study journalism? So there was always this little thing of like, I don't know, she's a bit of a, you know, she's Alice in Wonderland, like she got some fairy tale in her head. It's not going to work out, but let her go ahead and find out and then realize she has to do something else. So there was a little bit of that element, but they weren't like adamantly against it or anything. And I was lucky enough to have my grandparents, because they financed me for me to go and study theater in London when I was 18. They helped me through university, which is why I could do it. If I had to do it without, I don't think I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for my grandparents.
So when you were in London and you saw Indian people over there, were you like, oh, hey, like you felt like...
And it was very sad because I'd be like, hey guys, I'm Indian, I'm missing India. First they would be like, wait, you're white. And then second they would be like, oh right, yeah, I've been to India once. It's nice, but people are really poor. They were like Indians, but grown up and brought up in London. So, you know, they're like Desis from London. So they had been back to their village in Gujarat like once or something. And a village in Gujarat is very different from like Bombay or Bangalore or, you know, one of the cities where I've lived. Yeah, it was hard to find people that really connected, except for like, the ones who were fresh off the boat, just like me. You know, the really Indians who were like, yeah. But yeah, I did find it hard to settle in England because of my identity crisis. You know, I was like, I'd say I'm Indian. They're like, you don't look Indian. I'd say I'm French. You don't sound French. It was always like, where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
So is that why you decided to come back to India to work? Because like it just felt like coming home?
It was an emotional decision more than an intellectual decision. It was just like, this is where I feel comfortable. This is the culture I understand best. Also because I'm a writer and an artist, I work in theater and I write folk plays and stuff. So I knew what to write about there. I knew what are the challenges here and what are the struggles we face. So yeah, definitely culturally I felt more at home.
It's interesting, because I mean you had a similar experience, but I was gonna say, like, Koreans born in Japan have the same thing. There's a lot of friction between Koreans and Japanese. And
yeah.
so they're there and they're like, well, I feel like I'm Japanese, but I'm not, and they don't accept me because I'm not Japanese, and they leave and they speak Japanese, they have a Japanese accent, but they know in their head that they're not, and so it's like a weird, confusing thing. When you went to university, did they make you learn the English accent? Like, because that's what happened with Achara.
Completely. I mean, if I wanted to be taken seriously, I had to talk like this. Otherwise,
Exactly.
it just wouldn't happen. Like, if I was going to complain about something being broken and it needed fixing, and I talk like this, then it would get done a lot quicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
No, I had that same thing because I grew up in Indonesia and Thailand. I had this weird, I mean, even now my accent's this weird American English pseudo I don't know what accent. When I went to England to study acting, I had this American accent, and then my teacher was like, you have to work very hard on your English accent, otherwise do you want to work in England? That's what you have to do. So then now my accent's like, I don't even know.
Long live identity crisis.
Yes, I totally relate. Every day I'm like, who am I? Where am I from? I'm in America. Oh my God, I don't know anymore.
But it makes you more adaptable, I think, right? I mean, I'm sure like you constantly I shift without noticing now sometimes, you know, when I'm being interviewed by somebody American, then suddenly there's like an American twang to my accent. I don't know where that comes from. I've never lived in America, but it's just like, as humans, as animals, we just copy each other. Like, you know, there's a tendency to just adapt.
That's a very Indian thing, because I noticed when I was in India, everybody had a different accent when they were speaking English. I was like, why is that? And they're like, well, you know, we watch American movies and this group watches English movies and we like to sound like the movies we're watching. It seems like you have really good control over it though, like because your accent sounds pretty, like it hasn't changed at all during this conversation.
No, it hasn't changed over this conversation, it's true. But yeah, I guess now my accent is a solid like Indian accent from growing up here long enough, you know, born and brought up in South India. But it's true, when I go to South India, it becomes a little more South Indian, you know, and I shake my head more and it just changes. And of course I speak French, and that also changes everything.
Before you got famous and all that, did people just assume you were like from up north?
People assumed that I was a foreigner.
Okay,
when they didn't know me. They would talk about me in Tamil, which is the language. So it was hilarious because they'd be like chatting away, usually guys saying something about me, like, oh, what do you think? You're saying, where is she traveling? Is she here alone? Blah, 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 whatever, just she's hot, this, that, whatever. And then I would turn around and say something in Tamil to them, and they would be like, oh, sister! Suddenly I would turn like, and suddenly I was accepted Tangachi and Nasaringa and all that. So yeah, there was this fun that I was able to have. It was frustrating as well because you're always seen as the outsider. So people think that you don't understand the culture. Like, do you like spicy food and all that? And also they would sell drugs to me because I'm the white girl. Like if my friends and I were all in Goa, they would come to me to sell like drugs because, you know, white girls are like that.
Right.
And guys would hit on you more because that's what white girls they see maybe on TV do or something. You know, there's a mentality. So that was annoying and frustrating. But on the other hand, it also gave me a sort of freedom to be weaving in and out of every culture. I would go to my Muslim friend's house, my Christian friend's house, my Hindu friend's house, to the temple, to the mosque. You know, I was able to just go everywhere where people kind of forgave me for the way I dressed or whatever, because she doesn't understand our culture. And that way I learned a lot about each culture.
Do you feel that because of being white, you had to work extra hard to get accepted in the industry?
I think that when I did my first film, Devdi, a lot of people had a lot of doubts about me because at that time my Hindi wasn't so strong because I grew up in the South and spoke Tamil. I think people just didn't know how I could fit into anything.
Right.
It really didn't take long. I think it took a few interviews where people just got to see who I am as a person, because they realized how Indian I am in my mannerisms and the way I express myself, and found out where I'm from and things like that. So I think that acceptance happened probably like a couple of years in after Devdi, after about 2 years. So yeah, after that, people stopped asking me so many questions.
Does your mom still go, hey, so when are you going to get a real job?
Yeah, no, she doesn't. She doesn't. She's very quietly proud. She will never tell me, But I'll hear from all my friends that, she's told the whole town in Pondicherry that her daughter won a national award or whatever. To me, she's just like, yeah, keep working, keep doing things,
It's a very Asian mom kind of thing to do.
Yes. What it is, like, keep working. You can never be satisfied.
So when you're not acting, like, what are you doing for fun?
Switching off my mobile phone, that's one of the funnest things to do. Like I said, I like going out of the city, and I surf back in my hometown in Pondicherry. I go bareback riding, horse riding. We have like these very beautiful horses in Oroville, in this little town where I'm from.
Are you like a daredevil when it comes to surfing? Like you're trying to find the highest waves?
It's very new for me, surfing. I've had like 20 lessons, so now I'm just starting to catch green waves and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But I'm really enjoying it. I love trekking. I love motorbiking. So I'm quite a outdoorsy kind of person. I do like reading a book as well, those little rectangular things with pages in between. But it's so hard to find the time. I have to be out of the city. When I'm working here, I just can't seem to do anything intellectual.
So after these 2 films that you're promoting right now, do you have anything lined up that you're working on? Or are you going to go back to theater?
Yeah. Oh my God. So many things. Yeah. I'm actually doing, my biggest stress right now is I am performing at the Spoken Word Festival. There's a first time an international spoken word festival happening in Bombay. And it's happening on the weekend, last weekend, 27th, 28th of this month. So I'm a little nervous. I haven't got my spoken word yet. I'm writing. I'm like sitting on my computer writing something. That's what I'm very worried about. It's going to be on fairy tales. And then I have a small film, as in an independent film called Scholarship, which has me and Konkana Sen Sharma, who was the director of Death in the Gun. She's also an actor. So we're both acting in that film. Scholarship is about, she plays my maid and her son is trying to get a scholarship. But it's also, and I play like a person who works with the mining industry. So it's about the corruption. There's a lot of dodgy stuff happening in the mining industry in India today. And it's basically also all about the red tape, the bureaucracy, the divide between the rich and poor, how much harder it is for someone who's poor to get the same things that someone rich can get.
Have you ever had any near-death or ghostly experiences?
Oh, I haven't, and I always want to, because because I like listening to my, like remembering my dreams and like trying to like analyze them. And I've grown up in a very spooky house in South India, okay? It's in the jungle in Mudamalai, and it's like really creaky, and people say there are ghosts there. I haven't yet experienced this, other element, and would love to. When I see a ghost, I might not feel the same way. But I'm convinced that I'll like get along well with ghosts.
Have you ever been approached about like doing a role where you are the foreigner and you kind of stayed away from it because you don't want to create that kind of...
I haven't had many of those, but yes, there have been times where I've been approached to play like an NGO worker from outside. It's not so much that I haven't wanted to do it for that reason. It's more that I just wasn't convinced by the role. In fact, I'm about to do a film where I'm going to be playing a foreign character.
Oh, okay.
In Rajat Kapoor, he's also a filmmaker and a director who I work a lot with in theater. So he's doing a film. We just spoke yesterday, so it's very new. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be playing a foreigner.
Have you ever been to the States?
Yes, I have. I've been to New York and LA and Detroit.
Detroit?
Oh, that's so random. Detroit? Why Detroit?
Like Hollywood film for 1 month in Detroit.
That's such a random
wow.
place. Okay, that makes more sense. I thought you were just kind of visiting because you were curious about it.
Like, who visits Detroit?
That's
No.
that's like visiting like Nebraska or some like kind of random place. Like, why would you go there? Detroit especially is not a good
It's not
area.
really a tourist
I
destination.
know, exactly, yeah.
There are houses on sale in Detroit for $1.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's the
Yeah.
bankrupt city of the world. I mean, it was great
wow.
to shoot there for 1 month.
Did you get scared at all when you were shooting there?
No, my director's girlfriend had her purse and wallet stolen, and they had an amazing story because she had that, that thing on the iPhone where you can find your phone. The homeless lady who took the bag and the phone was like followed because of this Find My Phone thing. So these guys ended up at night going to this like dark area, just trying to find the phone. and ended up next to a bonfire with all these guys getting drunk.
Whoa.
And they found the woman. They found the woman who had stolen the phone and got it back.
Oh, wow.
All the money and everything was gone from the purse magically, but they got like their stuff.
You've done something that a lot of actors kind of fear, which is love scenes. The first time that came your way, were you like, ugh, I don't know if I can do this? And then afterwards, like, what's it like seeing that?
I thought I was really comfortable with my nakedness and my body. And I am, like, I don't have an issue with it, you know, really. I don't think about it much. My poor maid who comes and cooks for me is so used to seeing me naked. She's like, oh, Didi, again, please, put some clothes on. So I'm not so this thing. So when I read a script and I see that, and if I feel that it's not just titillating or it's not just there for whatever sake, and it's actually part of the story, and especially in Margarita, I think it was so important that there was that scene, because it's so much about how a person, we don't see disability in sex. We don't think about sex, the sexuality of the disabled. So I really loved the scene and I wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm fine with it. And then when we got there, I was like, you know, there's like 20 people in the room.
Oh, you're like, please leave.
So there's like all these people, and I have a very funny story in Margarita, because they decided that my nipples were too pink. Okay, so the director, Shonali, was like, yeah, I think your nipples are a bit like too bright pink, you know, especially for a white, for Desi person, for an Indian person. So we'll just make them a bit brown. So then I'm lying there, and the makeup artist is like, I did not sign up for this. So me and Shayoni, the other actress, we were kind of like friends, so I wasn't so uncomfortable in that scene. But the scene with Ian William, he's given like a nude sock, and I'm given like a nude triangle to stick there. And we're like, how is that going to help? Like, here we are with a nude sock and nude triangle, walking around butt naked. And yeah, and it's very, very, you know, technical in that sense. Oh, move a little bit, I can see a bit too much of this side of you. And, you know, so it is not sexy at all. Like, if anyone is jealous of us actors getting to do these lovemaking scenes, it's not much. You can't really, like, find it sexy while you're doing it. You're just, like, trying to get into the right position and stuff like that.
And then what's it like watching it afterwards? Because, like, you go into a theater and you're seeing, like, with a bunch of people watching you, you know.
Yeah, and it's so big on screen, right? Everything looks much bigger on screen. It's great. It's very flattering in some ways. Yeah, I can't, I don't know. I mean,
that's a perfect reaction.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like that's pretty much like how I think I'd feel about it. Last question, I guess, is what haven't you gotten to do yet that you really want to?
Oh, so many things. I think one of the big things I'd love to do is a historical character, because I love history and I read a lot of books. So I'd love to do a character a person that actually existed, and really research that and research it and speak to people who knew the person, or if it's really back in time, and read all the books and stuff. The action film for sure. And I would love to do a rom-com where I get the guy in the end instead of like you know, just nice, sweet, you know, Meg Ryan. I think I'm the undiscovered Meg Ryan of India. Yeah. Nice rom-com film.
It's funny you say Meg Ryan, because like this might sound weird, but like I'm known for like saying that Nawazuddin Siddiqui is like the Daniel Day-Lewis of India, because like he just kind of transforms. But like in my mind, when I look at you, I didn't know if it was gonna like insult you to say it, but like when I think of you, I think of like the female Daniel Day-Lewis, because of how you can like transform and stuff like that. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
But like I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to be like, oh, you're just as good as this guy, you know.
Yeah. Like we said at the beginning, you know, girls have to be like everything these days. Boys, everything.
Would you ever work in the States?
Sure, if I got a good film, yeah. If Spielberg calls me, I'm not gonna be like, let me check my calendar.
I'm asking for my own personal reasons, so like.
Oh, yeah.
So.
For sure.
All right, well, cool. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
I'm sorry I talk so much, so you know, I feel like sometimes it's tiring.
No, not at all. I mean, we know everything about us. We're interested in finding out about you, so it's all good.
No, but thank you so much. much. Like, it was very kind of you to share your time with us, and I
No,
really
and
appreciate
I
it.
really enjoy watching your videos. I think they're really cool.
Oh.
And you know, it's so nice to see people's real reactions while they're watching the trailer. And you don't end up watching the trailer at all. You just end up watching you guys, you know.
Thank you again. We look forward to watching Ribbon, and we'll put our review out and all that stuff. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye. All right, you guys, that concludes the conversation with Kalki Koekla. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out Achara Kirk on the social media. Thank you, Kalki, again for doing this. I appreciate it so, so much.
And you guys go check out Ribbon and Gia Ao Gia.
Oh my God, I was like so nervous going into this. Okay. I'm all good now. Like, I think all the heebie-jeebies are out of my system.
All the fanboy.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's out now. It's out. Now I can start the conversation. You guys.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Thanks again. I'm Jabby Koi. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.